or how they're related to the microbial communities in the rock. So there's all just so many questions.
Sorry, some tether management there.
Roger.
Gave us a nice 360 of that beautiful coral.
Which way are you gonna move the ship now? I lost the plot.
So we're gonna move the ship bearing Argus bearing 300.
Ah, cool. It's kind of the way I'm headed.
All right.
Great.
There we go.
Nice
Do it.
collection of sponges.
Yep, right on the steep side. Another eel.
Correction, 295 is what I'm gonna do.
Well, that's the way I'm headed now.
All right. Bridge, nav. Can we please move 30 meters bearing 295? That should keep us along this contour a little bit, just moving in a different direction. Then we can regain.
So we are getting the question, are there microphones on Herc to listen in on the deep sea? And there are not. Herc itself makes too much noise to make that feasible. But I'm beginning to wonder if there are speakers on Herc and that we were heard when we said, oh, there's not much going on here. We should turn around and go back. And all of a sudden we're back in this really interesting community of sponges and corals here.
Okay, I've been over it twice now, at least. 295.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to slide down the hill here. Unless you want to come to the east.
We're back in the land of the pink floaty things.
I feel like we're just
Here, hold on a second.
missing it there.
Please do keep your questions coming. We enjoy hearing from you and exploring together. We're getting a question, how do we keep our energy up on the 12 to 4 shift?
We sleep right before. I just keep trying to remind myself this might be the last time I do this.
Yeah. I don't seem to find a problem maintaining my energy. It's more the other direction of closing my eyes and going to sleep is difficult because who knows what we might miss. But hearing from you all is another way to keep our energy up. So keep those comments coming. We'd love to answer your questions.
See Beth's.
And if we miss something, the full dives are recorded on, and you can go home and watch them on YouTube.
So I'm just gonna catch me on that heading there, is it?
Yeah, so Beth has sampled a rock near this area and said that it did look like there was some sandstone underneath. So the observations that we're making here are supported by that sample that she's already got and opened up. So it's not surprising. Again, what is surprising because of the character of the rock that we're seeing, the outside of it, the 3D more angular features, what's surprising is what is it doing here? So basically reconstructing the geologic history of the area. why is there lithified sedimentary rock in
You
this
can drop
area,
down a bit more,
specifically
Jamie, or-
if it is a
No, maybe you
sandstone?
need to come up the hill more.
You can really see the lasers in the water, which is an indication that there is sediment. I think it was the dive yesterday, but I've kind of lost track of my days, that the water was so clear you couldn't see the lines. You could not see them at all in the water column, indicating very clear water. But today, you can see those laser lines.
Right, that was on our deep dive on Sovereign Seamount. Crystal clear.
You'll have to come up, Gabby. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. I need to be on the other side of it. How about I come onto you? That'll...
Still working the tether issue.
Just trying to work out, come right under you. Yeah.
There's a swimming something.
Yeah, I thought I was going uphill, but obviously I was not. Roger. I was trying to get, when we get upside down, Emma, we have more delta than altitude with Argus, and makes it, you know, I can't go anywhere. So I'm trying to get the opposite of that, whichever way that is, and I kind of have to fumble around because I don't have that eye in the sky. So it looks like I need to be to the south of Argus. Southwest, roger, thank you. Feel like I've been to the southwest.
Did you take a wrong turn at Albuquerque?
Apparently. Herc's looking uphill here, so I'm coming up.
Herc's looking uphill right now.
Correct.
Okay. So if we follow this, okay.
We found all the lovelies up the hill here a bit. Just that one drop down.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a small move at bearing 300 just so we can, I think there's a lot of like local topography that we're seeing.
I think so.
And I want to keep the general trends.
Oh, that's a big old coal.
This is back in where we were, where all
Yeah. Yeah, we've kind of just doing a little reversing.
I've been here like 4 times now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
You can go over the same area 4 times and not see the same thing. It's just 1 meter difference.
That's true.
Are you okay for me to call in a little move?
Yeah, sure.
Bridge, nav. Can we move 30 meters, bearing 300?
Yeah. Yeah, let's see how that goes. I don't really have a sonar target to go to at the moment, so I'll mosey along. I think that was just like a little local outcrop there.
Dan, do you have eyes over on the high pack screen? So I guess what we're trying to do is skirt this contour and then kind of make our way back up the ridge.
Copy.
And we're over here, so that's the general trends to look out for.
Nautilus, this is Inner Space Center. Can you hear us?
We got you. Can you hear us?
Whether or not. Yeah.
And if you're out of US
Hi, Inner Space
or out
Center.
of Auto
Can you
XY, I can
hear us?
I am.
reset. Okay.
Yes, we have you.
Okay, welcome.
Julie's here. Thank you.
You're good.
So if it's red, the link's hot.
Maybe we're just in that flat there. It feels like we gotta slide to the west a little. That's what you're doing, right?
Yeah, so I mean, so the idea that the scientists want is to kind of see what's over this way and then work our way up.
Roger.
So that's the goal with the ship moves, is to get us so we can kind of get over here to new territory and work up this ridge.
Trying to see what's on the slope. What's on the cliff kind of the ridge.
Yeah, I keep trying to go southwest there to go uphill, but I'm going to have to.
Yeah, so we'll skirt and then go uphill.
Roger.
Yeah, southwest would be uphill. Northwest should be uphill. West should be uphill.
I'll just come under Argus and you move the ship where you need to go.
I think where you are now, and if you keep that same heading and we kind of move forward, if this is a good position with Argus is good. You don't necessarily have to be right under Argus because you might kind of fall off the slope a little bit and go
definitely
downhill.
Okay. 300 from here, you're saying?
No. Now the way we are oriented, we kind of moved around a bit, is definitely a 275.
Copy.
Go ahead and make that move. Bridge, nav. Can we move 30 meters bearing 275?
You can look 275 if you want, Gabby. See a blurry Herc down there.
So for folks who might be tuning in, that's not the usual Argus view. We're using the Argus dash cam for this dive. We'll swap out, replace the Argus Zeus in between, before the next dive.
Yeah, what's the, oh, is that a Tina-4? I haven't seen any of those guys.
Let's see what we got there.
Oh, maybe.
It's a ghost.
Total ghost.
Salp, maybe.
Is the plan to put mini Zeus on there, or is the plan to... I was asking him.
Oh, that's up.
Trevor.
No. I thought, I was under the impression the idea was to take the Zeus off of Atalanta.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah.
Put it on there.
The mini Zeus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Two very different sponges there, one right next to each other. They look like they're walking down the aisle and getting married. One in a fancy wedding dress. The other in a very slim white tuxedo.
Yep, I'd say the watch is starting to wear on Andrea here.
You don't think so?
Huh.
No, I do. They do look like figures. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like you're still facing downhill a bit.
I am. I kind of
Yeah.
squared up on the two sponges here.
Okay.
Lovely. Did you get some snaps of that, Sarah?
I did, yeah.
I love it.
Couldn't resist, sorry. Back to 275-ish, which is
Oh, I guess that's what I mean.
still downhill.
Yeah, exactly. I think we'll, if we make, in the next move or two, we'll gain it.
Yeah, it's, you can see the Argus sonar there. 60 meters away is a little uphillish.
Sounds about right.
Thanks to viewers who are tuning in as night becomes day in some of our listening areas. Welcome to the end of this Tectonic Turtles 4-hour shift.
Bridge, nav.
Come down 5, Gabby.
Can we move 30 meters bearing 270?
You can probably double that if you want. Good for a long move.
Can we move 60 meters, same bearing 270? Thank you.
So Beth, are you on SPL?
Yes, I am.
Would you like to introduce the guests we have joining us from the Inner Space Center?
Sure, I'd be happy to. And I'm also a guest on this shift.
Honorary turtles, one
Yes.
and all.
This is Beth from the 8 to 12 watch. And we have Dr. Julie Huber
Down
from
another 5,
Woods Hole
please.
Oceanographic Institute visiting the Inner Space Center at the University of Rhode Island with Dwight Coleman. And I'm not sure if there's anybody else in the room, but can you guys still hear us on land? Oh, looks like we might still be working through some technical difficulties. I see that they're also not logged into the science chat, so maybe there's some rebooting going on. We'll try again in a bit. Thanks, Emma.
Is that a sea cucumber or a shadow? Shadow.
I'd
Thought
be
for a
fooled
second
too.
it was a fish, but it's a shadow.
My hypothesis is that we won't see largely this because we're on the dipping plane, dipping bedding plane. That's what we've been seeing on those surfaces.
You said we won't see what?
I think it's gonna, when we are on kind of like on the bedding surface, if we're talking about sedimentary rocks, which is out for debate, we haven't been seeing much diversity. And we're following kind of along that dipping plane right now on the east and northeast side of this ridge.
So a new viewer is asking if we explore the same sites every year, and no, that's definitely not how this exploration generally works, although some sites are revisited year to year. This is the first time any ROVs have explored the seamounts that we've been diving on for the past, this dive and the 11 previous dives. There's been mapping in this area, but no ROV dives. And exploration will continue with the next mission that's coming on next week to do some more work in Papahanaumokuakea Marine Monument, in parts of the monument where there hasn't been ROV dives before. So you are seeing what we are seeing as we are seeing it, and we're all seeing it together for the first time. You can learn more about this expedition, Lu'u'ae Ahiki Ika Papaku, which is the name of our mission, at our website, nautiluslive.org. You can head over there and check it out, including how we got that name, how we were given that name as to describe our work. Thanks so much for your questions, and thanks for being a new viewer. We're excited to have you.
What's up? I slid too far to the north there.
So we had another question about the lasers. What are they for, and why do you always turn them off when something interesting happens? That's a great question. Those lasers are parallel lines going off into the distance. They're 10 centimeters, or about 4 inches apart. And we like them for science because they tell us how large rocks and organisms are. But sometimes we ask for them to be turned off so that we can get glamour shots of the terrain or the organisms for use in educational materials or just our outreach efforts, blog posts, things like that. So if you wonder why when things get really beautiful and interesting, we sometimes ask for lasers off. That's why, because we want to get those glamour shots. But they are useful for the scientific aspects as well in determining the size. Thanks for your question.
Seem to be on par there.
And if you're down here too long on the 12 to 4 shift, everything starts to look like a face when those 2 laser dots hit all the sponges and the round rocks. And to learn more about our entire dive season this year and exploration and mapping season, you can go to our website, click on Expedition, and you can see where we've been. We started up in the Pacific Northwest and moved down the coast into some expeditions off of California. And now we are out here in Papahanaumokuakea Marine Monument, west of Hawaii, where we will finish out this year's exploration season in just a few weeks. But don't be sad. Nautilus will be back early in 2022 for more work in Papahanaumokuakea.
It's for you, Steve. Back out of the rubble.
Oh, great question coming in on the website question submission box. These sponges look pretty big. Do they have a maximum size, or will they just keep growing and growing and growing?
That's a good question. Some of the polyopicons, I'm not sure that they have a limit. Based on what we saw tonight, there were some that looked like 2 meters in size. And some of these skeletons look really long.
So the short answer is we're not sure, and I don't know if anybody knows because we don't generally revisit the same sponge year after year after year. Also, hello to a high school oceanography class from Rhode Island who's watching during class.
Oh,
Right.
Welcome, students.
Which class?
Oceanography, it says.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
so
Okay.
They're lucky to get to study oceanography in high school. That's great.
absolutely, absolutely. Glad to have you with us, and send those questions in on nautiluslive.org, and we'll get to as many as we can.
This looks like another one of these Tretoplura sponges. Seen quite a few of them down here. This one's got a lot of associates.
Yeah, these ones are most likely, it seems, to have so many associates. Do you notice that?
These look like
These leafy sponges.
Yeah, like hydrozoans.
Yep. Squat lobster.
Squat lobster waiting for a meal of opportunity to drift past those extended claws.
So we'll be changing over in just a few minutes to our friends on the 4 to 8 watch. So if you hear some folks dropping off of SPL, that's why. We do watch change every 4 hours to refresh the human components of our exploration system.
I think we have lots of associates in the polyopicons that are just kind of tucked away.
Yeah.
Not the same kind.
Yeah, maybe not as visible. Yeah.
So folks who are just joining in, we are slowly working our way back up the side of a ridge which has proven to be a very productive site. Amazing density and diversity of corals and sponges. And we may see that on the next watch as we slowly ascend back up to, well, I'm not sure what that depth was up there, 1800 or so.
Yeah, we've dropped down a little bit, about 50 meters from the highest point on this dive so far. The largest sponge ever seen was seen a few years ago in Papahanaumokuakea Marine Monument. It was 9 feet by 12 feet. And we don't have age estimates on sponges, especially, are difficult to age. But given how slow growing they are hundreds, if not thousands of years old. So thanks so much for your question. If we don't get to your questions on this watch, we will hand you into the capable hands of the 4 to 8. We will have about 4 more hours on this current dive. And then the last dive of this expedition will be in a day or two, so stay tuned to nautiluslive.org. We'll try to keep you updated. Plans are changing out here all the time due to conditions and whatnot, so follow nautiluslive.org or our Twitter account for dive alerts. Thank you so much for your interest and for joining us here, wherever you are in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. This has been your Tectonic Turtle 12 to 4 watch, and we'll see you again next time we're on watch. Gotta hand you over.
Looking at a nice black sponge, or black coral there. And I'm ready for watch relief. Black sponge. With a squat lobster on it.
Yes, let's see if we can do it. Okay. Let's see. That's the extent of my focus. I can't get any closer. So that's, yeah, he's, I can't, yeah, he's too close. I can't get him in focus. Let's see. See how close we can get. That's the closest I can get. Well, that's my whole zoom anyways.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, morning, morning.
Some people are on SPL. Make sure you hit it.
I have not seen a zoom like this on a black coral.
Just the one?
Yeah, black corals are really cool when you zoom in on this because they have two very elongate tentacles, and that's what you're seeing. And then they have four other much smaller tentacles, which you don't see. So it looks like they have just two a lot of times that are all lined up in a row along the branches. I mean, it's a hexacoral. It's not an octocoral. The tentacles are not branched.
Well, would you like to do the ceremony? We ready for that?
Yeah. Let's see.
Are we still transitioning?
Yeah, they're transitioning the back.
Oh,
Can you
understood.
give them another minute?
We'll continue to stand by. That squat lobster keeps sticking his arm in the way.
They can have attitude, you know.
I'll say.
Okay. And he'll come when he comes. Yeah. Yeah, let's let Annie get settled here first.
Those ones are too close. I can't get the focus to them. So we have to. Yeah.
This is a squat lobster view of a black coral. We have put ourselves into their carapace. Can't really see the other four tentacles on these. You see the two elongate tentacles on each polyp. Very difficult to see the other four. They're much smaller.
Is it a hexacoral?
Yes, it's a hexacoral, and black corals, for the protocol real quick, as Andy's getting set up, they have two very elongate tentacles, and that's what you're seeing, and they're all, the polyps are all lined up along the branch. And so there's two elongate ones on either side, and then the other four are kind of between each of those elongate ones for each set. I can't really see those. Anyway, a marvelous view. I don't think I've ever seen such a close-up.
for on these things. Okay, are we all set?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to our viewers. It's really a pleasure to be here on another watch. You can hear me, right? Can you hear me?
I was. No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, you're there.
Okay. At this time, we will be going radio silent to conduct our private ceremonial protocol to acknowledge and honor the biocultural resources that are present and that we are interacting with and impacting. We will be back shortly on SPL.
Okay.
Right. Hui Huakai. Team Sponge in the house.
Okay, so
Okay,
let's start with where we want to go.
Okay.
So the report back was that they started down that ridge, didn't like it, came back around, and we're planning to go along this contour. But what would you like to do?
Taking a look at where we are. So if I'm reading these contours right, then due south of us right now, they're going downhill as well. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah, we're near the top of that ridge, so it's almost downhill in every direction except for up to there.
Okay. Sounds like their plan is good. So I'm just checking the other side. The current is coming from what direction, please?
Let me line up on it. It's coming down slope.
So it's
So that
coming
means
south? Or
it's moving north.
moving north. Okay, I think that's a safe direction.
So we'll head south up into it?
No, I was thinking we don't want to be sort of against the wall with the current blowing us into the wall, right? So I think
Current is coming out of the south, blowing north.
Right, so I think this north slope long contour that Aaron was saying they wanted to do sounds pretty decent to me, if that works for you guys.
Yep.
Okay, let's do that.
All right, sounds good. Three 315?
315, sure.
All right.
Are we trying to summit this, or are we just trying to stay along the contour? I didn't catch that.
My understanding is stay along the contour. They did do the summits already.
Oh, roger. Okay.
But I don't know if they want to regain it at some point, but we can chug along here. This way. I'm just checking my bearing. Yeah,
okay.
I think 315 is good.
Thanks.
Bridge nav. Can I get a 20 meter step bearing 315?
Very nice Sponge.
Oh yeah, could we take a look at this, please? Zoom in on it? Sorry, I was punching into my chat here.
Chat puncher. Okay, zoom in, please.
This is a really cool sponge.
This is a cool sponge. Look at that. It's gorgeous.
Okay, it's a little different than I thought. This is the one that we collected the other day. And it's in the family Eurydidae, which is still a cool sponge.
I do have more zoom if we want more.
Sure, let's zoom in on a little bit more.
Always want more zoom.
Yeah. That's what I like to hear.
Some of the viewers may be wondering why it's got such incredible texture on the outside, and we sort of feel that that's allow increase in surface area because it is a filter feeder, and it wants to expose as much of its tissue as possible to the water. The water is coming in, we think, in the sides here and then squirting out the top through the big hole. So That's a really beautiful sponge, and we're going to find out, hopefully, who he is, since we sampled it on one of the other dives this trip. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, as we get spun up, one more housekeeping thing. I understand we're 8 a.m. on deck. Is that true?
Who can answer that? I'm not.
Oh,
I'm sorry. You're right. I should be able to answer that. It just didn't register to me. Duh, let's see. 4 o'clock in the morning. Yes, sir. Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Okay, so we're about 2 hours up, so that gives us about 2 hours left on the dive.
Great. Thank you.
Yep.
Oh boy, it's gonna be a long morning.
Yep. Or a short morning.
Short morning. Excuse me.
It's gonna be a long morning or a short morning.
Just.
Maybe a medium length morning.
Look, I just need somebody to replace my battery, right? And the car will start up.
Bridge nav, another 20 meters, 315.
I assume we have all the rocks we could ever want.
Andrea was talking about, you know, if we saw a good one, but these apparently have got sediment in them.
In them?
Inside them, yeah. It's kind of manganese crusted sediment.
Oh,
so she doesn't,
interesting.
She didn't want any of those unless we can find something that obviously is a good one.
Like a manganese sandwich.
Oh, this is a big
blob.
Yeah.
Whoa. Look at that guy at the top.
Yeah. Kind of a small one. I mean, shrimp,
it is.
Shrimp compared to our last watch.
It stuffed sea star on the little slope behind it.
We've become really snooty about these. If it isn't like 20 feet tall, then it's not all that interesting. Yeah.
This does look quite comfortable as a chair, though. It's one of those Swedish design, Swedish furniture type chairs. That squat lobster up there? Look at that guy. He like is king. He's king of this universe.
He's on a little hydrite or something that's growing on the sponge itself. Or it's a black coral. I can't even tell what it is.
We could zoom in on it real quick.
Sure. If we can take a quick zoom.
Maybe we can. Go ahead and zoom, please.
It's a hydroid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So they're not bothered by the hydrates. They're not stung or...
They're not what, excuse me?
They don't get stung. Ooh, look at that sea star just chowing down on that black coral.
Yeah, we could take a look at this because they normally don't eat very many black corals to my knowledge. So it'd be good to get a peek at him.
I assume that's what he's eating. It looks like it.
Yeah.
Okay, zoom in, please.
Looks like he's finished his meal, though.
Why is he all... Oh, yeah, there's a stick in the middle.
Yeah.
But it could be a bamboo stick if we can get a tight zoom on this.
Bamboo stick?
Yeah, it's a primnoid.
Uh-huh.
So he's eating a primnoid.
Huh. Yum. Primnoid for breakfast.
Looks very folded over.
He does.
Yeah, he's got his stomach averted, but we couldn't really see it. But the sea star could be something called Evoplosoma. I'm going to take a quick peek in the guide.
There's cool stalks from the dead large variety sponges. Those are the ones that look like skeletons. I love all these little, so these are all black corals all on the bottom, right?
Yeah, these are black corals. So the community has transitioned from when we were here last, where we were in those immense corallia and gigantic sponge beds. Now it's transitioned, and I was watching earlier this morning into a rather amazing bed of black corals, which has a variety of different species.
Yeah, that's what it looked like before I went to sleep, like around midnight or so last night.
My chat is taking forever to come up. Come on, there we go.
Aloha, Sako, sorry.
I still haven't been able to see a single message yet. I'm waiting. I think it's about to load.
320.
Bridge nav, can we get a 20 meter step bearing 320?
Yeah, they saw a cool king crab last night, so that just kind of before I went to sleep.
So Asako is telling us that right after our watch last night when we left, the community shifted from the hemicorallium to the black coral world.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how long you were watching, Asako, but was it pretty much all black corals after our last watch, or did the coralliids come back at all?
If I can jump in, this is Beth.
Hi,
sitting
Beth.
over at the side table.
Oh, hi, Beth.
Hi, yeah, so we had the watch right after you, and we had a great a mix. So there were instances where it was almost entirely black coral dominated, and then we would come into areas where we had the hemicorallium and primnoids and more different sponges, and then it would go back to the black coral almost exclusively. So there's been some transitions depending on where we are on this feature.
Ah, that's fascinating. Thanks, Beth. I think we're going to learn a lot from this survey. We covered a lot of distance. I've seen a lot of transitions here. And it's a matter of sitting down with this and getting a bunch of people to look at this video and think about what's going on here. So what we're going to do, folks, is that we've surveyed the ridge as far as we can go without having to go down significantly down slope if we were to continue south. So we're doubling back north, but we dropped down the northern face of the ridge a bit, and we're going to survey along there to see what that part of the thing is like. It's kind of a safer route for us. So it's going to be a bit different. We're going to have this wall on the left-hand side of your screen probably for the entire 2 hours that we're down here.
Yeah, we are coming to you live from Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument. So this is did you describe the ridge? We're in a neat ridge running parallel to the Hawaiian archipelago chain off of the east side of Tamana Seamount. Just a spectacular, spectacular site. Saw some really incredible stuff at the beginning of this dive and really unique communities the entire dive. It's been quite a location. Chris did such an epic job picking this site.
I figured out the technique. So if you put a bunch of dots on a board and you blindfold yourself, and then you get those sticky type darts and you just start throwing them.
Like the Nerf type darts?
Yeah. Then, whatever dot you hit, then it...
What I was thinking last night, Chris, right before I couldn't go to sleep, was since this ridge does run parallel to the Hawaiian ridge, and we've been talking about these things called internal waves, and even saw some really beautiful imagery of how these deep sea waves resonate from either side, north and south of the Hawaiian archipelago chain. Basically, they move quite a bit of water as moving dense seawater up and down, and they create these waves at depth. And since they radiate out from the Hawaiian archipelago, and this is perfectly parallel to the Hawaiian archipelago, it might be exposed full on to those waves radiating south from the Hawaiian archipelago, meaning that there's a lot of water movement coming across this ridge, which is what we certainly have seen. There wouldn't be these communities if there wasn't a lot of material in the water and a lot of water movement. So there's definitely something going on that's moving, that's providing a lot of food, current, and opportunity for these animals. So something's doing it, and that's kind of when I was thinking about the internal waves radiating south. But who knows? And they did see some ripples. I saw just before I went to sleep, they saw some really neat sand channels that had these ripples that show the movement of these kinds of waves. So we'll have to go back and look at that later and see if that makes sense.
I think, again, once we get a chance to extract as much data as possible from this dive, I think we can learn a lot. And it's a matter of people really sitting down with it once the track is all processed and on the topography and the video is annotated. Then I think there's a chance that some things may emerge, some information and some patterns that perhaps will help us try to understand these communities better. But I wasn't kidding. I mean, Emil might have mentioned this on the last watch, but this is perhaps the most spectacular site I've ever dove on, and I've dove on a number of them. That first part, and then when we went up that really sharp precipice and overhanging area with the enormous polypogons and the gigantic coralliids.
Use it in, please.
It was just amazing. This is Candidella gigania. If you look at this, they have sort of very elongate stalks on their polyps, and that's why they're called gigania. It's not that the colony is huge; it's the polyps are huge for the size of the stalk itself. Candidella typically has a lot more sort of scale-like sclerites running along the stalk of the polyp itself, more so than Calyptrophora or Paracalyptrophora or Narella. So it's a diagnostic feature that we could see very clearly here. So thank you very much. Tina Molodtsova, according to Asako Matsumoto, she's passed this on. Tina Molodtsova at the Shirshov Institute in Moscow is a black coral specialist that's worked with us for years. And she said that the black corals are potentially Heteropathes pacifica or Trisopathes.
Fish.
This is, if we can get a side view. Let's see, this is great for the top view, I think. I'm looking for when the dorsal fin starts, which is pretty far back, I think.
Yeah, these are very fat, happy fish.
And wow, this is a terrific view of this guy. He's behaving very nicely. I don't know. I don't think it's, let's see there, now we're getting a look at the lateral line. So it's, I can rule out a couple things. So I don't think it's in the genus, well, wait a second, let's see its lateral line. No, okay, so it's not in the genus Iliophus, so presumably that means it's in the genus Synaphobranchus. It's a cutthroat eel, or it's another genus, but Synaphobranchid is what we should keep the ID at. Cutthroat eels are one of the main predators down here. They've got a very large mouth filled with a lot of sharp teeth.
That's a
they're
criteria. Yeah, I saw a few of those last night too, and they're quite numerous down here.
There's a Bolosoma sponge going off screen. Again, a lot of these black corals, as I was mentioning, have been tentatively identified by Tina Molodtsova. I know they collected one on the watch right after ours. There's a few coralliids that are scattered amongst some very small colonies compared to what we saw last night.
Well, it's good to know that this amazing community is fully protected within Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument and World Heritage Site. And the present NOAA is considering adding additional protections to this vast ocean area, and through a National Marine Sanctuary designation, which it's considering a National Marine Sanctuary designation for all of Papahanaumokuakea and the expanded area, which is where we're in right now, and the rest of it. If you'd like to participate in that process, you can go to our website at papahanaumokuakea.gov and look for the sanctuary designation stuff. It should be right up front. And you can provide comment right on the website in Olelo, Hawaii, or the Hawaiian language in English. Or you can attend one of our cool public meetings we're going to host in December. We're going to host 4 meetings on Zoom. And you can register right on the website there and hope to hear from you and what you think about designating this area as a National Marine Sanctuary and protecting these incredible, incredible habitats that we've been seeing this expedition, these amazing sponge and deep sea coral habitats. So please go there, papahanaumokuakea.gov, and provide your comments on that process. I look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, when I get home, I absolutely am going to make some comments on there, as I want to do my part to really try to help maintain this place, of course.
Yeah, well, you've done a lot over the years. Certainly, Chris and his various teams and partners and crews over the years has done so much regarding the deep sea habitats and impacts from bottom fishing, and just doing a lot of research throughout the monument and its various incarnations. And Chris has had a couple of decades of involvement in this area up here.
Zoom in, please.
Definitely want to hear your comments, Chris, for sure.
Thank you. You get a little tighter, Aaron, or is that about all? Oh, there we go. Okay. So I think this is Piranapathes, and that was not one of the ones that Tina mentioned, but Piranapathes can have 2 branches coming off sort of at the same time from along the branch, and Heteropathes tends to have a central core of different polyps running up the stem. I didn't see those. So I'm going to go with Piranapathes on this one. So that makes at least 3 different types of black corals, but we also saw Bathopathes and a bunch of other stuff. Really quite a variety of black corals that we've seen.
One really just amazing thing is that